Hello again, this is Brian Copeland talking. Welcome to another edition of Copeland's Corner. I always forget this at the beginning. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends, help us build this audience. We would appreciate it. Got a great lineup of comics this week. A couple of veterans. Monique Marvez is here. And see, you were worried last time. You said, oh, I'll either be your best guest, you'll never have me back again. Well, you're back. For the last time, but you're back, so I appreciate you being
and
here.
I was on with her both of her appearances now, I guess.
I know.
That's right.
How lovely.
Yeah, was there something going on that I should be aware
We're
of?
not talking.
Okay. And a new face, the virgin of the group, Bill Jubran is here, who is absolutely, if you've not seen his stand-up, it's great. If you have not seen what he's doing online in terms of the commentaries, he's done a number of things that have gone viral. Just absolutely knocked me out. So thank you. It's a real pleasure to have you, man.
Cool to be here, man. I'm excited about it.
All right. So let's go ahead and start.
And then me.
And then you, didn't I introduce you?
Thanks. Wow, how quickly you take us for granted.
Well, I kind of thought I did. Forgive me. Brian Mallow, who is now a regular, is here. who now has equity stock in the show, is here with us.
So please like and subscribe.
Please really like
I
it.
look forward to being at Brian's status where I'm just ignored completely as well.
Exactly. And here's a special question for you that you won't be able to answer.
Well, I'm hurrying because Monique, I'm told you got a heart out.
I do. My brother's a single dad, and I'm going to go get my niece for him.
No, that's a good sister because I wouldn't do it.
I am a very good sister.
Very good sister. All right, so I've got some individual questions. That the way this works is I'll ask you questions. So I feel like the dating game chosen especially for you. I'll let you answer, and then we'll bring everybody else in. Bill, I am going to start with you. I saw you do a rant on this, and I had to ask you the question anyway because I love what you had to say on it. Okay, so you got Turning Point. That's broadcasting an alternative Super Bowl halftime show for those who are offended by Puerto Rican entertainer Bad Bunny's appearance. Yet they say that anybody who calls this action or Charlie Kirk or the Turning Point movement racist is ill-informed and an Antifa just hater of America. So your thoughts on this, number one. Number two, how do you think this plays out ratings-wise? Are people actually in large droves going to go, we'll turn it off during the halftime show because we want to see, the Ted Nugent or whoever it is they end up getting to do this?
This is the litmus test for racism, right? They're planning 4 months in advance what they're going to do when a Puerto Rican comes on their TV screen. That's not racist? That's not racist. You telling me with a straight face that's not racism? That's racist. Am I allowed to use language?
Well, on occasion.
Okay, that's racist as heck. That's racist.
Well done.
It doesn't have quite the same punch. It's racist as heck. Come on, people. Let's be real. Come on, you just own it. I would have so much more respect for you if you said, yes, I'm racist. I would have, instead of denying it all the time. Come on, you're all celebrating. They're celebrating Trump wanting to bring back Columbus Day. Come on, every move is about racism. Just own it already.
All right. So do you see large numbers of viewers, and this is a worldwide event, do you see large numbers of viewers outside of Spanish-speaking countries flipping the channel? Boy, I'm dating myself. Changing the channel. Getting up, turning the dial in order to, as I said, to watch Travis Tritt or whoever it is, Rock or whoever it is that they get.
Turning Point, turning the channel. They should change it to Turning Channel. Really, it's I think it'll do okay. Numbers wise,
really?
But it's still not going to take away from the Super Bowl. Like, I think the Super Bowl will probably have, if not the highest ratings ever, one of the top highest ratings ever. How could it not? I mean, if you're in charge of bringing someone for ratings, why would you not bring one of the biggest stars
in the world?
That only makes sense. It's not all about you, Trump supporters. It's not all about white people. It's not all about this complexion. It's about bringing eyes to their game. They have 8 games in other countries this year. Mm-hmm. They're in London. They're in a few other places. I forgot where, but they want to expand. They want to go global. And this is understandable. If you don't like it, I thought you boycotted last year and the year before that and the year before that. How do you boycott something every year? Just go away.
I loved it when they were going to boycott Nordstrom over Ivanka Trump. So let me get this straight: Trump supporters are going to Nordstrom on a regular basis.
I like what you're doing, by the way, Brian. I like how the first thing you see when we start is a bunch of books. That'll scare away all of those people. So we're not going to have anyone in here just it's not like Trump supporters okay, let's hear what they have to listen to. No, they're going to see the books and jet. You know what I mean?
And boogie.
I want no part of this. They got books.
Okay, Brian, I'll give you a chance to chime in so that you know that you're loved and not forgotten.
On this? Yeah,
on this.
It's funny. Of course, it's been said enough times, but also he's American and Puerto Rico is part of America. It's just so absurd. And that they've never done it before, and they've surely disliked some of the halftime performers before.
Oh, sure.
But this is next level behavior that just fits in with everything else perfectly.
Does it hurt numbers?
Yeah.
Does it hurt
What's
ratings?
that?
Does it hurt numbers, do you think? I mean, are people
I don't
going
really
to
think so. And also, it's 15 minutes, right? What do you mean? They're gonna turn away. If they turn away, they're gonna miss all the Super Bowl commercials, and that's a huge draw.
Yeah, that's true. And when what people don't realize too, in terms, I've hosted live television, and I did a late night special, and you know what the lowest rated portion of any late night talk show or talk show that has musical guests is? The lowest rated? It's the musical guest. Because if you don't like that particular band or that particular type of music, you flip. You go to the kitchen, go to the bathroom, or you watch something else, so you figure they're over. So, I mean, I just don't see. I mean, the people who weren't interested are going to get up and walk away anyway. I will admit to being not as musically on top of things as I should be, because I didn't know who Bad Bunny was till this, but I'm not going to miss. I may not even watch the game. I may just watch the halftime show.
And don't you think a certain percentage of people will watch to hate it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hate watch it, of course. Of course they'll hate watch it. How else is Fox News going to criticize what they haven't? Oh, wait, they do that. Monique, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, as pale as I appear, and I always say I look like a middle-aged white woman with good credit, but I'm 100% Latina, and I will shank a bitch. I have 2 Puerto Rican grandmothers that migrated to New York, independent, didn't know each other, moved to Miami, and their children married. One Puerto Rican grandmother married a Venezuelan on my father's side. One Puerto Rican grandmother married a Cuban on my mother's side. So I'm Puerto Rican predominantly, Venezuelan and Cuban. And to be perfectly candid, I couldn't sing you a Bad Bunny song if I tried. But here's what I will tell you. I mean, how American culture do you have to be? I mean, the bottom line is the litmus test. He dated a Kardashian. If you date a Kardashian, you're as American as it gets. I mean, that's just the culture. And Bad Bunny dated a Kardashian. So that's even more American than being part of, an American territory. So that's number one. And
I thought you had to be a black man to date a Kardashian.
No, well, no, they had Scott Disick. They had their token whitey. And at the end of the day, yeah, Scott Disick. I mean, he's really white. But the interesting thing for me is that you said you'd never heard of Bad Bunny before this. This is really going to make you never have me on again. I never heard of Charlie Kirk till the day he got shot.
Oh, I excuse me. I only heard of Charlie Kirk maybe about a month before he got shot because I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to get rid of dogs. But he attacked on the air. He spent time attacking a friend of mine.
Okay.
And that's how I heard him. Other than that, I'd never heard him before.
No, I don't. And again, to be perfectly candid, there's a whole lot of things. I've got friends that follow a band called Mastodon. So you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. There's a whole lot going on in the world that isn't about Monique Marvez, and I get that, and I respect it, and I'm okay with it. I live the way I want people to live, which is, if that's your jam, that's your jam, but don't be hateful about it. I'll be very honest with you. I'm a spiritual person, not a church person, not a Bible person. I'm a very spiritual person. I've got zero problems with atheists. I have friends that are atheists, but there's people that are atheists that are proactive God haters. Like, they try to make you feel stupid that you believe in something that's invisible or can't be proven. I don't have any God hater friends, because I don't have hater friends, period. That's not how I roll. I feel like I'm okay with your jam. Just don't go over the coloring line of, now I have to hate that thing.
I respect your right not to believe, so you respect my right to believe, is basically
Amen.
how I look at it.
Amen.
I look at it. All right, now let me ask you something personal, and you do not have to answer this at
Anything.
all. Okay? Since you gave us your lineage, you don't come more Latina than you, basically.
Nope.
With your lineage. However, as you did say, I've only seen you, online. I've not seen you in person. Excuse me, I got a frog today. And again, you don't have to answer this.
Anything you want.
Have you ever passed?
I've never known that I was passing, because here's the thing that's very interesting, Brian, is that in Miami, Latinos are the majority, and Cubans in particular tend to be fair skinned for whatever reasons. And now they're not, because actually, as part of a plan, Fidel, kind of encouraged, for lack of a better term, mixing of the races, because Cubans are mega racist. That's the dirty little secret.
Really?
The dirty little secret.
Against who? Racist against who?
Skin tone. Afro-Caribbean people that are darker. Like, Cubans are sometimes prejudiced against darker skinned Puerto Ricans. They don't want their kids to marry. The dirty little secret is that everybody's always looking to make sure that somebody is under the totem pole, under them. And I'm sure that you're well aware that, free African Americans looked down on people that were slaves that were let free. Like, they didn't want their kids. And there's African Americans that stay out of the sun because they don't want to get any darker.
Oh, there's colorism. There's so much colorism in among African Americans, where between light-skinned African Americans and dark-skinned African Americans.
So my whole life, I never knew that it was an issue. Nobody ever asked me I was Hispanic. Nobody ever asked me, because my first name's Monique, and I'm named after Dominique Fransone in the Fountainhead, but my mom thought Dominique was too hoochie, so we cut it to Monique. Yeah, but too hoochie. Dominique was, my Catholic mother was not having Dominique, after Dominique Fransone. But the upshot is, it's reverse passing. Would you like to hear my real problem, Brian? When I first moved to LA and I would go to castings, I would walk in and here's what I would hear. You don't look Mexican. I'm not Mexican. There's plenty of Latinos. You're tall. You're fair. You speak perfect English. Could you Latin it up a little? Could you speak with an accent? I never got cast. And I went all the time to castings when I first moved to LA, when you actually went in person. It was not a self-tape. And it was always like me and Luis Guzman. You know what I mean? Like, I was always reading Luis Guzman. I love seeing him on Wednesday. I love seeing him as Gomez Adams, because
He's great.
Nobody has worked harder and longer than Luis Guzman. Love that guy. I can't tell you how many times he was almost my husband, but I was too tall, too white, too well-spoken, too educated, too not Hispanic, whatever that means.
No, see, I dealt with that in a different way, and here's my race casting story. Years ago, they were Zoetrope, which is Francis Ford Coppola's company, was doing.
Zoetrope.
They were casting a voiceover for a gig. It was for a live film. I don't know what the film was, if it ever came out, but they were casting just voice, and so it was me and 5 white actors who were in the waiting room to go in. So I'm listening outside the door. You can hear them. And they have these guys come in and they're speaking with an English accent. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, let me practice my English accent. And I'm out there practicing. I guess they were supposed to be like managers of a rock band, an English rock band or something. And I'm practicing. So they call me in and give me the sides. And my line says, careful, you're going to get blood all over the crack. That was, that was the line they gave me. And I said, wait a minute. Is this everybody else? Just read the line. I go, I can do an English accent. It's a voiceover. For a guy. No, just read that. And I didn't read it convincingly enough, or I wasn't exactly what they were looking for. Bill and Brian, being Latinos, have you guys had any problems?
Well, I'm Middle Eastern.
You're what?
I'm Middle Eastern.
Oh, you're Middle Eastern. I know you're not Latino. I'm kidding.
Okay. But people don't know that either, because people think I'm just a regular white guy.
I did until just a Senate. Now I can't have you on again.
Yeah, right.
Homeland Security is going to be watching me. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Now, what part of the Middle East? What part of the Middle East are you?
Jordanian and Palestinian.
Okay.
And I was born here. I was born in Chicago. I'm just pretty like, I don't even have, I have a Chicago accent. I don't look white. I mean, I don't look Middle Eastern. I don't sound Middle Eastern. I don't smell Middle Eastern. Like, I'm just a regular dude.
Is ICE going to bother you? Is ICE going to bother you if you're walking down the street in Chicago or in Portland or soon to be San Francisco?
I don't think I fit the bill. I don't think I look like I would be bothered. I mean, I'm in Southern California, and I know LA had a lot of that nonsense, but and San Diego too. San Diego as well. A lot of bad stuff happening over there. But no, I'm not worried about that part. But if I travel, I think there might be issues. You've seen some people who do social media or do content like I do. They get taken to the side. So what do you do? Are you from here? Do you have And they ask, like, Hassan Piker. You know him?
No.
Hassan Piker. He does a lot of left wing commentary and has a podcast. And he got taken. He got questioned. When just coming into the country again. So I'm a little skeptical about that if I leave the country or if I go on a cruise or something, but
your last name isn't exactly Smith or Johnson.
But Jubran, though, doesn't tell me anything, in terms of
not too much.
I mean, I'm curious, is that your family's name that they had when they immigrated, or did it get changed somewhere along the way?
It's Jubran. It's also supposedly, from what I was told, I'm a descendant of Khalil Gibran.
Nice.
Oh, really?
You guys know him?
Yes, of course.
You're aware of him?
Of course.
Good. People, it's nice talking to people who read books.
Everybody should read
so
The Prophet.
wild to me.
He's a super important guy.
Yeah, I mean, his poetry is amazing. You read any of his books, The Prophet, anyone?
Brilliant.
It's candy. It's brain candy. If you just read in a couple pages, you're like, my God, you put these words together. It's magic. It's art. It's beautiful. So that's like the one family member, if I am indeed related to him, that I'm not embarrassed of. So,
well, I started thinking, like, somebody was telling me that everybody of Mexican descent claims that they had an ancestor who rode with Pancho Villa. It's just something that they say. Is it true? The same as every African American with high cheekbones claims that they're part Native American. Did I have my DNA done? Nah.
Me either.
I was hoping.
I'm afraid people will find me. My dad got around. I don't want to be hooked up with a bunch of half people.
Brian, you are actually doing the opposite thing, being an American who has relocated to Mexico. You are currently in Mexico. How are you being treated? Because you don't exactly blend in.
No, but when I think of that the most, actually, is I see a lot of little kids, and I just think when I see a parent carrying a kid that's 2, 3, 4 years old, I wonder if I look extra strange to them, a little different from most people here. Although there are a lot of American expats in this city, San Miguel de Allende.
Which I've heard is beautiful, by the way. I've heard it's unbelievable there.
It is. And it skews hotter, but in a way it reminds me of San Francisco in that it's at 6,200 feet elevation. So it's not as hot as it would be. It does get pretty hot and we're closer to the equator. But it's not as hot as it would be, sort of like San Francisco. And I thought, I'm not a Mexican American. I'm an American Mexican, the opposite. But people are very nice here. In some places, including Mexico City, and then places like Barcelona, there's been a lot of anti-tourist and maybe anti-American feeling,
That's what I was wondering.
For sure.
Yeah. In this city, there are a lot of immigrants or expats. But I think that they're welcome. Yeah, I had a cab driver. I was kind of conscious of this, and I want to be respectful of this. And I had an Uber driver, and I asked him how he felt about it. And he drives an Uber, and he has an Airbnb and a little restaurant. And to him, and he also said, so in that way, it's like the more the merrier because it's good business for him. And then he also said he appreciates the other perspectives. So I'm sure, there's a little bit, but it goes a long way if you're nice and respectful.
Amen.
To other people. And I tend to be pretty friendly. So it's been pretty nice for me so far.
All right. Next question is for you. Chris Mays, who is the Attorney General of the state of Arizona. I love this. He's threatened Speaker Mike Johnson with a lawsuit. She's going to sue if he doesn't seat Adelita I'm trying to say her name correctly. Grijalva. That is correct. She won her father passed away. He held a congressional seat in Arizona. She won by a landslide. It was something like 40 points. Wasn't even close. And Johnson is refusing to seat her and to swear her in. First, it was that the results were not official. And usually if it's super close, they'll wait. But this was like 40 points. It wasn't even remotely close. And now it's because the government is shut down. And as soon as we're back in session, we'll seat her. And then they bring to his attention, there were two Republicans who you seated while the House was not in session. And his answer was, well, but they had their families here and everything, and they were all here to see him sorted, and so we went ahead and
bought the cake.
They already bought the cake. She already had the wedding dress.
Cake at Safeway. Come on.
Already had the wedding dress, so they had to do it. Anyway, so she says she's going to sue. And so I got two questions. Number one is she is the vote, and she said she will vote to open and to bring the legislation that would release the Epstein files to the House for a full vote, and that's
she would be the deciding vote.
She would be the deciding vote. And she said how she will vote, and so the speculation is that is why she is not being seated. So, two questions. One, do you trust, even if she sues, do you trust the courts on this? Because it looks like the Supreme Court does whatever Trump wants, and the Supreme Court's going out of the way to protect him. Saying that a president can do whatever a president wants. It is not illegal. No, Nixon, it's not illegal if the president does it. So, number one, do you trust? I mean, is it an exercise in futility for her to go ahead and sue? Because if she wins, if it goes to SCOTUS, odds are, they're looking at their past work, that they're going to let it slide. That's number one. Number two, do you think that it's about the Epstein files? Do you think that that's the main reason? Or do you think it's just, they don't want to have a smaller majority than they got?
I do think they should bring the case, even though I have no trust in the Supreme Court making the right decision. Although could point out that to some extent, lower courts have been one form of resistance to all the activity by this administration. Lower courts have thwarted or tried to thwart many things, but no trust in the Supreme Court. Absolutely not. But they should do it anyway, because then the Supreme Court should be on record for making these bad decisions. I think, if there's one word that sums up the Republican brand nowadays, it's hypocrisy. And this is exactly like Mitch McConnell and Merrick Garland, define. I even looked this up. It was by far the longest period of time that a Supreme Court, a presidential nominee for the Supreme Court was like pending. It was something like 293 days more. And then, of course, the very next administration, very hypocritical. If that was too close to the next election, then they have that by I don't know how much and gave, it's just always hypocrisy. So I don't know if it's literally because of the Epstein files, because, it's hard to even know anymore are you 100% that if the Epstein files came out, it would be devastating to Trump's career? It's like, how can anyone even say that with confidence? But it would be embarrassing, and maybe he'd lose a few people, but
But a lot of them,
nothing has stuck ever.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, there were viral videos over the Epstein files of people burning their MAGA hats. And, they'll let a lot of stuff go. But when you talk about molesting kids, that's not a party anybody wants to be a part of.
Yeah, I hope so. But you know what? Also, for most of us, we already have seen enough to have more than suspicions about his guilt. It's like, yes, let the files come out. But haven't we seen enough to know that there really is something in there?
All I know is I'm a father of a daughter, and I've never once said that she's hot.
And he said a lot more than that. Yeah.
Bill, your thoughts. Is it an exercise in futility to take this to court? And do you think it's about Epstein?
You still got to do it. I mean, I don't trust anyone. I trust the federal courts more than I trust the Supreme Courts. And why is Clarence Thomas still in there? Why is Clarence Thomas? You can be bribed and go on lavish trips with billionaires who you've presided over, and you get to still be on the Supreme Court? Like, how is this?
They can buy you an RV. The billionaires can buy you a special custom-made RV. Billionaires with business before the court. With business before the actual court.
That's insane to me. And I was pleasantly surprised with Joe Biden because he turned out to be more progressive than I thought he would be. Mm-hmm. But I would have loved if he would have stacked the courts. Like, that would have really done it for me. If he would have made it even. Hey, we have 8 conservative, we have 8 liberal. Okay, It's even now. I would have been happy with something like that. But he didn't touch that. You'll never know, though, because Supreme Court has ruled against Trump. They have
a couple of things. They haven't ruled against him. They've refused to hear certain petitions. I can't think of a single ruling that actually went against him. I could see where can think of a couple where the federal court ruled against him, and then he appealed to the Supreme Court, and they, without comment, just declined to hear it. But to actually flat out, give him his way, so far I can't think of it. I mean, not that there aren't any, I just can't think of any. Monique, your thoughts? Is this about Epstein?
Yes and no. And here's the thing. I believe that, and I said this when I was on KFI, there was a time when he was really, the MAGA rabies were bad. And I said, I believe that he could go on Fifth Avenue in New York and open gunfire with an AK and nobody would care. And people would be like, well, those people needed killing. He knew exactly who to shoot. And, the rabidness of his fans, because followers, fans, whatever word you want to use, it's almost cultish.
Cult members.
You're correct. But here's what I believe with all my heart and soul. What I believe is that the Epstein files are going to come out one way or another. They're going to come out, whether it's WikiLeaks, whether it's Israel, whether it's...
Yeah, where's WikiLeaks, by the way?
Yeah.
Where's... I keep waiting for Where's WikiLeaks, and who's that other hacking...
Where's Anonymous?
Anonymous, yeah. Where are they?
They're correct. Julian Assange, they went after him hammer and tongs. But what I will tell you, look, when the Queen of England has to dip into her purse to shut this S down because her son is, right in the middle of it, like the Queen of England was like, shut it down, Andy. Shut up, quit doing interviews and shut it down. And what I will tell you, and this sounds really mean, is that I think being a woman, I think that's probably the only civil conversation that certain arch enemies, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump called Bill Clinton and goes, look, dude, we got to figure out a way, between the two of us. But when you talk about the hypocrisy, because I have no doubt that people from both sides of the aisle did heinous, ridiculous, awful things there. I have no doubt. The guy was not an investor. He was a blackmailer. That's what he did. That's how he made all that money. And what I will tell you, as a woman, the fact that Epstein got away with what he got away with in Florida, nobody would have even known about the guy. He was sentenced in Florida to some BS, not even an ankle bracelet. Like, what?
It was like, remember years and years ago, back when Robert Downey Jr. was on drugs, was actively using, and he finally got sentenced to jail. And what the deal was that he had to be he was allowed to leave jail to make movies, and then he had to be back at a curfew after they wrapped for the day. Then he had to go back to his cell. That's the kind of deal that Epstein got.
It was ridiculous. But that tells me that a whole lot of men with a whole lot of power came to bear pressure in a whole lot of different places. And what that also means is a lot of people know about it.
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting is that there are one of the victims had a press conference, I think yesterday, where she said, we are going to release our own Epstein files. We all know each other. We all know who was there. We all know what we did. We all know
it's going to come out.
And they are going to put together their own Epstein files. So, let's.
Can I just say that? Have you seen much of the birthday book, the Epstein birthday book?
No, I know you.
OMG.
Enough to like. Yeah, exactly. You're like, I saw a guy phrase it this way, where you think some of this stuff, it's got to be slightly blown out of proportion, like it's conspiracy stuff. And then you see this, and it's insanity. It's one message after another from people we don't know, but they know him. And they all know there's stuff in there that's showing him a cartoon showing him grooming little girls who later become young women and are all over him. And everyone's little happy birthday message is with full awareness of him and young girls. And and when you see him, you start to go, holy shit, how is it? It's like all the worst kind of rich, untouchable.
All they are white people freak-offs. At the end of the day, Epstein, I heard you laughing. But Brian, you can't have a room full of people oiled up.
That's great.
You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest, it's white people freak-offs. Everybody knew the deal. What was going, they called it the Lolita.
The Lolita Express.
Yeah.
And they're all laughing about it.
Everybody knew everything, and things work until they don't. Like, how long did P. Diddy have a reign of terror? And if you want to take it off of sex, how long did Lance Armstrong have a reign of terror over people like Floyd Landis, and successfully sued and beat, a slander charge, because if you're in, you got to be in. So even though they were telling the truth about him and it all came out, he sued a reputable newspaper magazine, can't recall right now, and won. Like,
you know what it was like. What it's like is the woman, the wife whose husband is cheating, and she walks in and sees it and still won't believe it because she doesn't want to believe it. And that's how it was with Lance Armstrong. I mean, the guy was a hero. The guy beat testicular cancer and still went on, to win. So I mean, it was a difficult thing to believe. Bonds, not so much. Barry Bonds. It wasn't hard for me to believe Barry Bonds. Not at all. All right. Here's an exercise just for fun. There are going to be apologists when this is finally released, and when what we all know is there is exposed. Tell me what you think the line's going to be.
Jimmy Swaggart. I have sinned. Do you not remember Jimmy Swaggart's
of course,
apology?
Crying. No, I'm talking about what are his defenders going to say. I'm saying what's the excuse his defenders are going to use to excuse this?
I voted for policy. You think say I don't like him the person. I voted for policy.
I'm already hearing a lot of that.
But they can't name any policies. They can't name one policy. I've been asking for years. Name one policy to help you. You voted for him 3 times. Tell me one thing.
Borders. Something about
That's not
borders.
A policy. Come on. Like, tell me, what did you do for it? And they also admit Obama and Biden deported more than he did. I'm like, so why do you want the one who deported the least? You have no arguments. You're in a cult. That's your answer.
All right, Brian, what do you think the rationale is going to be?
Well, first of all, it doesn't matter what comes out. Some of it's fake news. It's fake news. Fake Obama, Biden, Harris, fake news.
You know it's true? I'm going to tell you. QAnon. I have always found, again, I'm playing the girl card. Whenever a man accuses you of being up to something and they are nuts deep in their accusation, then they are doubling down. I know you're not going to the comedy club. I know you're getting dressed up every night. Why do you got to wear perfume? You're on stage. Nobody's smelling you. I happen to like perfume. Every boyfriend I ever had that accused me, like I say, nuts deep that I'm up to something, was always up to something. And if you remember that QAnon stuff, that held water. That caught on. That became like people were talking about it like it's a real thing, And that's what tells me, like, there's a whole lot of pedophiles on the other side of that word.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you and tell you that I'm a little afraid of what names are going to be there. Afraid to the extent of being disappointed in.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Is there somebody? Right, a perfect example. I have been a Sylvester Stallone fan since I was 12 years old.
You don't want to know things. You don't want to know things. Since I was 12 years old. The story about how he was a nobody and how he fought to get Rocky made, and they're making a movie out of his fight to play Rocky. It's called I Played Rocky. It's in production. They've already cast it. It's my favorite movie. When they say you're going down, he goes, "I'm not going down." I cry every time because of the man, the story behind the man.
But even as I said, the story of how the grit that it took, he really was Rocky. And then to see him stand up there a couple of weeks ago and introduce Trump as the second George Washington.
What? I missed this.
You missed that? Yeah.
Can I say something that's going to get me in trouble, but you may have me back as a guest?
Please do.
I have a friend who shall remain nameless, investigative reporter, who was doing a story and found out some very unsavory things about Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, no.
Yes, and young women.
Oh, man.
Yes. And when she went back to her network with, they put it before the legal team, everything checked out, and basically the network said, he's an A-lister. We have nothing long-term to gain. Short-term, yeah, super salacious. We broke this story. Long-term, this could look. The guy hired Anthony Pellicano to threaten people. He stole Chuck Wepner's life and didn't want to pay him. He's not,
Yeah, he did. Wepner didn't get screwed over on that. Well, there's the Brigitte Nielsen story. The only one that comes to mind from Brigitte Nielsen, his second wife. The blonde who was in Rocky IV. And the way that they met was he was in town in Philadelphia shooting something. And
she wrote him a letter.
She sent him, no, not a letter. She sent him an 8x10 of her in a bathing suit.
Okay.
And he sent a limo to go get her.
Yeah.
and she was 12 at the time that Rocky came out. But she was an adult when this.
Yes, of course. Of course.
But that's the most salacious thing. But again, that's what I mean about just being, because that's the thing. My kids and I have a thing where no matter where we are, we all get together. Anytime a Rocky movie comes out, a Creed movie comes out,
yes,
or a Bond movie comes out. But
here's the bottom line.
And I'm so disappointed. I can't. After him calling,
that's how I feel about Woody Allen. Woody Allen is a comedic genius. There is no arguing that Crimes and Misdemeanors is brilliant. Zelig is beyond hilarious.
Yes.
But he's Woody Allen.
But You and I are going to get into it over that.
No, I watched the movie.
You and I are going to get into it over that.
Let's get
because
into
the fact is, I just don't. If you look at the facts of this, if they could have gotten him, they would have gotten him.
No, that's not true.
If you look at the facts
If
of
he
this,
was black, they would have gotten him. He's a white Jewish male with a lot of money and a lot of influence, and he married the person who could have been the biggest proponent of getting in trouble.
That was the scumbag thing that he did. You don't date your girlfriend's daughter.
Your semi-partner. Look, they weren't legally.
They weren't married.
They didn't partner.
They didn't live. They lived at opposite ends of Central Park.
And
they didn't even live there.
And so did Tim Burton and Helena Bonham Carter. But they were partners. It was the way they lived. They haven't.
I think this is part of the answer to your question. They will flood the zone with all the other guilty people to avoid making the conversation about Trump.
That's it. That's it. You nailed it.
I mean, I'm not saying, look, I love Woody Allen movies. I had to get over my personal disappointment of who he is. But I mean, anybody watching Manhattan, a 42-year-old man, Alvy Singer, is dating a high school student.
Oh, yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay. But you mean to tell me that we're supposed to believe that the most famous claustrophobic in the world took a 4-year-old into an attic with a house full of people downstairs?
Who knows how big the attic is?
While he's in the middle of a contentious custody fight and molester.
You know, I'm gonna pass on commenting on that, and here's why. Because there's so much I don't know about the circumstances. Nor me. I don't know how big the attic is. I also know that people like that, because I have people in my close circle, drug addicts, sometimes when they're under pressure is when they most do the behavior. So telling me that he had a house full of people doesn't necessarily mean he wouldn't do it. It could very much have triggered him to do it. So I don't know enough. All I know is, naked spread eagle pictures of his quasi stepdaughter.
That's not right. She was never a stepdaughter. However, of his partner's daughter, period. That's the scumbag thing. That's the thing for which there is no defense. There was absolutely no defense. Barely out of college, partner's daughter. It's just there's no way around that. There's no way around that at all. And I want to make it clear that I am not saying don't believe people who are accusers. I'm not saying don't believe victims. I'm not saying don't take it personally. I'm just saying there's a lot to this case. That's all.
Amen.
And there's a lot to this case. So moving along, it is your turn before you run out of time and have to go babysit.
Thank you.
All right. So we record this podcast on Wednesdays and drops on Thursdays. So by the time you see this, you'll know. Well, actually, you won't know probably till June what the decision is. But today, Wednesday, the Supreme Court is rehearing a case, Louisiana versus Callais, Callais. And it's unusual because they heard this last term and then said, we want to hear arguments on it again. And what the case would do is it would gut Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act and its protections against the dilution of the collective power of racial minority voters. In other words, what it would do is basically give states the right to gerrymander the collective power of a race to have a district. They could gerrymander in such a way so that the Latinos are a minority in this district, or the African Americans are a minority in this district. It means you'll never have, and they tend to vote Democratic. So that therefore you'll never have a Democrat in these districts, and you'll never have anybody of color in these districts. And according to a report by the advocacy group of Fight Fair Action, if this is allowed, it's going to allow gerrymandered redrawn districts in Louisiana, Florida, Georgia, Missouri, North Carolina, and you're not going to have any. He won't have any Democratic representatives in Congress at all in Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, and Tennessee. They lose all their Democratic seats if this was, if in fact the Supreme Court, goes with Louisiana on this. So I'll ask you again. We talked earlier about faith in the court. I mean, this is such a big thing. Do you think that this Supreme Court would deliberately and openly disenfranchise people of color, because that's what it is they're doing. If in fact they go in Louisiana, they're completely disenfranchising people of color.
The answer is yes. I don't have to think about that. You're like, hello, yes. But I have several questions. It's a little bit like a Talmudic shear. I'm answering a question with a question. So I have a couple of questions, which is number one, why is it always assumed that immigrants vote with immigrants and vote for their fellow immigrant? I was so disheartened by how many Latino men and African American men voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Gutted like a fish on a pier. That voting with your gender, with your genitalia, is more important than seeing the bigger picture of a candidate and how that candidate feels about you and your community and your culture. So what I would love to see, because I'm a futurist and a forward thinker, is that I love, and I told you this on the first show, it's the kids that are going to save us because they're not entrenched in, and when I say ghetto, I don't mean African American. I mean when they talk about the ghettos of Krakow and Poland, the kids are more collaborative. They're more about a collective spirit, energy, a frequency of like, we like what this is about. We don't, how the package that it comes in, we love The Matrix. We don't care that it was made by the Wachowski brothers, who are now the Wachowski sisters. We don't care. We just love the movie. Mm-hmm. And that being said, I feel that what we need to do to sort of win, if you will, I don't even like using the word beat. In order to win what's going on, it's about not being sectioned and, fractions. It needs to be, hey, whatever the candidate is that we are in alignment with and like, even if they don't look like me at all, I'm going to vote for them. And I feel like gerrymandering, like there's so much talk now that feels old, like 100-year old. Like even the fact that we still, that Putin started a boots on the ground war at a time when China can shut our whole government down with the toggle of a switch. Because once you sign up for TikTok, they've got you. Like they could shut down the banking system. They could have a complete bloodless coup if they wanted to. It's all a fool's errand. It's all a game. Like even back in the day when they brought Saddam Hussein out of the spider hole because the right thing was to have a trial. Like why? You flattened his two sons with a bomb. Like why do we suddenly feel like it's a show? We might as well.
And then a public lynching.
Yeah, we might as well just bring back cats. Like there's so much about this old paradigm that just needs to die. That's about show.
Bring back cats.
I hated cats, but you get the point. The point is, even the fact that we're talking about dirt, sod, like this piece of dirt versus that piece of dirt feels so last century. It's about, hey, let's just vote for better people, even if they do and don't look like us.
Okay, and in a perfect world, that's exactly right. But let's be realistic. In the South, the fact that you had African Americans who were so downtrodden and so disenfranchised for well over a century after the emancipation, the Black church is a very, very powerful and influential force when it comes to voting. And rightly or wrongly,
not the last election, evidently.
Well, I'll tell you something interesting about the last election.
Churches are losing their grip, by the way.
Not the evangelical churches, unfortunately. Not the white evangelical churches. I mean, they have got they've got that party by the short hairs. Let me bring Bill in here quickly. Do you think that the Supreme Court would deliberately disenfranchise voters of color?
I'm gonna be a little optimistic about this and say no, they're not going to.
What's the
that could be, Bill.
What's
that could be just optimistic. Maybe it's optimistic ignorance. I don't think they will. But like I said, I think this is too big. I think it's too big and obvious, to go ahead and do that. Like I don't think,
you're right.
I hope so. I mean,
What's the vote?
that's all Republicans have been doing.
Tell me the
Republicans
vote.
have been trying to cheat in every single election, every single one. Then you notice the only thing they don't do to win elections is have policies. They never had that. That's all. I'm
You're
being
right.
straight up right now. I'm being dead ass.
No, you're
They
right.
don't have policies. That's why they do fear tactics. Every 4 years, a caravan's coming. Hey, they're coming. They're smuggling. They're coming across the border. It's fear tactics.
They're eating
It's
our
lies.
pets.
It's and they close down voting stations in black neighborhoods and near colleges. They have a law where you cannot give someone water while they're in line to vote.
In Georgia, within 100
Those
feet
are
of a polling
policies.
place. Within 100 feet of a polling place.
They want the lines to be long as hell to scare people away. I'm not waiting in this long line in the cold or the heat or whatever. I'm not going to vote today. And they try to downplay mail-in voting. There's no problem with mail-in voting.
Trump wants to ban it. Yeah,
It's just they do everything but say, "Hey, we're going to give you health care." They notice they haven't had one. And why doesn't any Republican say, "Hey, how about some health care?" Like, you guys have health too. Like, why don't Republicans, conservatives ever say, "Why don't you care about health care?" I don't. You would rather lose your house, lose your life savings, go bankrupt, or die if you get really sick or get injured.
They're already closing rural hospitals
like every other country.
They're already closing hospitals in rural areas in red states. They're already, but these people they thought that it didn't affect them. Monique, I know that you got to run.
You do.
So real fast before you go, anything you want to plug? Where can people come and see you?
Thank you. I'm in Las Vegas this weekend at Wise Guys, which is exciting. And then in November 21st, I'm at Monmouth University. And you can find all my dates in between on MoniqueMarvez.com or at Monique Marvez on Insta, Facebook. I'm the only Monique Marvez because Dominique would have been too hoochie.
And all of that's going to be on the show notes, by the way. All that.
Thank you.
In the show notes. Thank you. You're always welcome back anytime.
Thank you. Hope to see you guys again soon.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Good meeting you
again.
Okay.
Brian, I'm going to give you the last word on this this Supreme Court thing. Do you think that they would deliberately disenfranchise voters of color, or do you agree with Bill that
I can't be quite as I don't have a strong feeling about it. I'm not quite as optimistic as Bill, because I don't know what gave Bill cause for optimism with these guys. Was there anything or you're just trying to be optimistic?
I'm hoping. It's based on nothing. It's based on, hey, I hope it doesn't rain tomorrow. Like it's not. I didn't check the weather report. I hope it doesn't rain tomorrow.
Even though it's rained every day up till now.
Right, but we're due. We're due for it not to rain.
Yeah. I just am not trusting them to make the right decision, but yeah, could go either way. But you know what? Also, when Bill was describing the situation for voting, it's like what we might have that's new, especially in blue cities, is sort of militarized troops at the polling stations. We don't usually see that in this country.
No, we don't.
And is it interesting if people said, the sending of militarizing and sending of troops from red states to blue states is very Civil War-ish, isn't it?
Well, they've been talking about a civil war on the web for how long? I mean, they've been, and it's all the right wing who refuse. If you ever spend any time in the South, they don't call it the Civil War; they call it the War of Northern Aggression. That's what, to this day, they call it the War of Northern Aggression. I mean, you have any idea how many schools in the South, and I'm not exaggerating, are named after Nathan Bedford Forrest? Nathan Bedford Forrest was a colonel in the Confederate Army who founded this little organization called the Ku Klux Klan. And what's funny is that most of those schools have majority black students today. So, I mean, they're still fighting the Civil War. They still refuse to admit that Lee got his ass kicked and surrendered. So, but that's why it is, just the optics of sending troops from Texas to Portland. I mean, I mean, since when? I mean, is there? I've been to Portland and performed a handful of times, and I mean, was there a crime? I mean, it was nowhere. He's claiming there's a crime problem. Is crime up? In all the places, crime is down double digits. But just in general, was Portland a place where that considered dangerous? I mean, have you guys played it ever spent any
I
time there?
used to play it a bunch, and I don't know if it was. I think it's mostly, I think the biggest thing they have to point to are the BLM protests. And I don't know if there's a huge, otherwise, I never felt unsafe there or at Powell's Books.
Well, and in BLM protests, that's funny because I never saw a black person the whole time I was in Portland. So good for them that they were protesting. Good for them. Bill, have you played Portland? Have you spent any time in Portland?
I know I have family there, and they absolutely love it. And even during the protest, they showed video of them dining out downtown. Like, this is beautiful. It's a beautiful day. Like, we're hearing from one third of the country that it's burning down. They're burning down cities. Like, but my cousin and her family are literally outside downtown, enjoying a beautiful day and a nice lunch. Like, it was so blown up. And that's what they're trying to do. They're showing videos of old stuff. They're showing videos of things. Hey, look, they're taking lasers and aiming at helicopters, at ICE helicopters, so they'll crash. I'm like, those laser pointers are pointing 3 feet off the ground, first of all. And second of all, it was from 5 years ago. Like, they're doing everything to blame the liberals, blame the left, blame Antifa. Like, that's all they do. Every time there's an attempt at Trump or anyone else, it's the left. With Charlie Kirk, it's the left, it's the liberals, even before any evidence comes out. That's all they do is blame the left.
Yeah.
They're trying to make everything, every place they invade, they want you to think it's the Rodney King riots going on. I mean, that's really the way that they're painting it. All right, last question.
This blaming thing too, it's insane the level. I look at social media posts, Instagram in particular, from the White House, Department of Homeland Security, and sometimes the Energy Department. And it's just insane that every social media post and every soundbite from each of these people in the administration, every single one has to include a dig at the Democrats now. Mm-hmm. And it's just transparent. It's like, talk about protesting too much and just the insanity of every single thing. And Pam Bondi recording messages to be played at airports. Some big airport rejected it and won't.
No,
play.
it's not. It's not Bondi. It's Kristi Noem and
Thank you. Yes, sorry.
SFO has refused it. The Oakland airport has refused it. There's several airports that are refusing it.
It's just nuts.
And it's illegal. It's against federal law to use those facilities for partisan purposes. And by the way, they're spending.
But who's going to prosecute them? $51
million is what it is they're spending on those things. Now they're going to yank healthcare away from 20 million people, but they get $51 million for Kristi Noem and her, puppy shooting ass to be.
Mike Johnson is so calm and measured, and sits and Christian and self-proclaimed, and he keeps saying these lies. What's going to happen? It's already mid-October. Come January 1st, our millions of people are going to experience insanely increased healthcare premiums. Yes. And it's like, what do you do with those lies when, they're trying to give $1 trillion to illegal aliens? And when it's just trying to maintain the subsidies, what's going to happen? We're not far from January 1st.
Well, here's the thing. I think they're going to cave. I think they're going to have to cave. And here's the reason why, is that this month, the insurance companies are sending out what your projected premiums are going to be without the subsidies and what you can expect to pay next year.
Three or four times
in some places. And it's, you gotta, I read somewhere that a family, I've seen this stat a couple of times, a family of a husband and wife married making 85 grand a year right now are paying $500 a month. And if these subsidies are not extended, that goes up to $2,500 a month. And again, who the hell can afford that? So I think that once enough of these red state, bots, realize that, hey, this is not just owning the libs. It means that I'm going to lose my health care because of it. They're going to change. They're going to have to. But I believe as long as the Democrats don't fold, as long as they show some testicular fortitude,
Great.
I think that eventually, I think that they fold. That they
But
have
don't
to.
you think there's a chance that, when they go up, they're going to say this is the Democrats' fault. This is the problem with Obamacare. This is the Democrats' fault.
Well, the polls are saying
We
that people
told
are
you.
buying it. People are saying
They insisted on giving that $1 trillion to illegal aliens.
well, the polls are saying that the American people are not buying it because the one thing the corporate media is doing, yeah, if you look at Stephanopoulos and some others, are trumpeting the fact that it, and no pun intended, that it is illegal to give with the exception of ER care, which you give to anyone who's bleeding out. Doesn't matter. They don't ask for papers before they sew you back up and put your guts back inside of you.
Yeah, half
They
of
can't.
1%.
Is
Half
that
of
what it is?
1%.
Half of 1%
0.4% goes to that.
goes through the ER. So it's not working. People aren't buying it, and they're not going to buy it. It's the Democrats. Let's end with this. You're talking about blaming the Democrats for things. No, the second No King's Day is this coming weekend, and there are going to be hundreds of thousands of people in the streets. And I saw a soundbite with Mike Johnson this morning where he's saying, "Look who it's going to be! It's going to be the world's biggest Hate America rally. Everybody you see out there hates America. It's going to be a bunch of left-wing domestic terrorists and Antifa and those who want to open our borders to all this. It's just no. We're just saying we don't want a monarch. That's all we're saying.
How mentally feeble does someone have to be to buy this nonsense? Like it's the same thing repeated over and over. The radical left. Let's break. Like, do they not see? They love Charlie Kirk so much, but they all know that Kash Patel is lying about absolutely everything, every single detail. Kash Patel is lying, and Kash Patel and everyone that Trump appointed, they're not doing their job. They're not qualified to do their job, first of all. But they're doing Trump's bidding. They're doing what Trump tells them to do. So Trump does not want answers to Charlie Kirk. Why are you guys not mad about this? Why me, someone who can't stand, and I've made plenty of videos about Charlie Kirk over the years. I don't like him. I make it very known. Okay, all the things I've said about him, I don't take back. But why do I want answers about what really happened to him and you guys don't? I thought you guys loved Charlie Kirk. You're switching a turning point during the Super Bowl. It doesn't make sense. How come you don't hold Trump accountable for anything? All he does is hurt you guys.
All right, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question along those same lines. What's the name of the guy who shot Trump?
That's what I was going to say too.
Yeah.
What's his name? I don't know. I don't know. Do you know?
I know it. I can get it. I made a video with a couple of videos about him. For some reason, I'm getting Harrison Butker in my head. Okay, Butler, Pennsylvania. I got Vance Bolter.
Now see, in 1963, nobody's going, oh, it's Lee something.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, because I remember when I'm old enough to remember when Reagan got shot, and I remember it was wall-to-wall coverage. Doctors had press conferences. Doctors came out with sketches, and here's where, in illustrations, here's where the bullet went in. Here's the procedure. Here's what we can expect in the president's health and condition next 24 hours. We got none of that. Why did we get none of that?
Very mysterious.
And I don't want to sound like
a presidential assassination attempt. And why don't we know any details? Hardly.
Thomas Crooks.
Is that his name?
Crooks.
If you say so.
We'll take your word for it.
All three attempts were Trump supporters. All three. The third one didn't even happen. The third one was in Coachella, where Sheriff Chad Bianco pretty much lied about this. Hey, we found this guy. He was going to take out Trump. The guy was a Trump supporter. They found weapons in his trunk. He wasn't going to do anything. He's a piece of trash, but he didn't do anything. So Sheriff Chad Bianco was running for governor in California. He tried to kiss up to Trump by inventing this scenario that didn't happen. And now he's suing the county of Riverside. This Trump supporter is suing the county of Riverside for what Sheriff Chad Bianco has done.
Well, he can't say that he's ruined his reputation because nobody's ever heard him.
Yeah. So
I mean, you can't say that he's been slandered and defamed because I've never heard of him. But that doesn't surprise me. Now, well, here's the big question: is he still a Trump supporter?
Oh yeah, hardcore.
Really?
Still, even after that.
Like you said, not only did we all know and did everyone knew the name of Lee Harvey Oswald, everyone knew the name of the guy that shot Lee Harvey Oswald, Jack Ruby. Everyone knew downstream another level. The guy who shot him.
I mean, everybody knew John Wilkes Booth before he left the theater. You know? And this is a shot
in his starring role.
And Hinckley. People knew about Hinckley.
We all knew about Hinckley before.
That's another point. Unrelated to anything we're talking about. When people use the stupid gun arguments, hey, more guns, keep it safer. We need more guns, and teachers need to be armed. We need armed guards. I'm like, more guns is never the answer. Okay. Reagan had the Secret Service, who are paid, the best security group in the world. They are paid to be vigilant. They're on the rooftop. They're all over, vigilant. He still got hit.
Good guys with guns.
So, yes, he got with a revolver. He got hit with a revolver.
I got one better than that. Sarah Jane Moore, who just died like last week, 2 weeks ago, who in front of the St. Francis Hotel here in San Francisco took a shot at Jerry Ford as Jerry Ford was getting in the limo. He was here for in San Francisco for some visit, and he's getting in the limo. Same thing, Secret Service everywhere, press is everywhere, and it's only because some civilian, I think, saw her take aim and grabbed her arm that she missed. And so again, same thing, Secret Service all over the place.
It's a weak argument when you
who's getting paid $15 an hour going to do against an AR-15.
Yeah. I mean, I will give the Kennedy Secret Service. I will give them a pass because they weren't even smart enough to know don't put them in a convertible. So I mean, I will give them a pass because that hadn't happened before, and it's somebody in a sniper's nest, and all. And these were all things that hadn't been thought of before.
But the argument on the face of it, if good guys with guns was going to solve the problem, we wouldn't have a problem today.
Right.
Yeah.
We have more guns than Americans.
Yeah, we do.
So if this isn't enough guns to solve it.
How many more do we need? What's the number?
Either one of you guys own a gun?
No.
You do?
I do, but it's like I haven't seen it in a long time. Like
locked up in a safe and all that?
It's locked up in a safe, and I talk trash for a living.
Nothing wrong with that, but let me
talk trash for a living, and I don't need one. And I don't need one. Okay, like if you guys are such cowards where you need to bring a firearm with you during the day in the second safest city in the country to go get milk and eggs, you're just a coward. You're a little bitch. Like, man up. Like I'm one of these supposed blue-haired lefties, soy drinking lefties who I don't need one. I talk trash. That's what I literally talk shit for a living. Literally. and
I imagine maybe you
and I don't need one.
Maybe like Canada, you would probably support reasonable licensing and passing tests, and
waiting periods.
If we're gonna have guns, like you have to have a license to drive a car or a scooter.
You know how to shut down that argument? Hey, we need armed guards in schools. You know how to shut down that argument? Ask them, how do we know those guards are safe? The guards with the guns, how do we know they're safe with the kids? And they're going to respond with, oh, you vet them. You make sure they're safe. That's gun control, dumbass. Oh, my God, that's all we want. Oh, my God, you're finally getting it.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. It's the truth. It's
Oh
true.
yeah, they sure limit guns at places where Trump is, where at certain events where politicians are going to appear, guns can be really limited. All of a sudden they don't think,
Remember
they
when
don't-
They're not
Obama?
allowed in CPAC. They're not allowed in CPAC. They're not allowed in the
exactly.
White
There
House.
you go. Yeah.
Remember when Obama was president and you had all these people showing up at open carry, he'd be speaking, and you had people that had in states that allowed you to wear a gun in a gun belt on your hip, like it's 1885 and you're Wild Bill Hickok or something. And we don't see that anymore. Have you noticed that? I mean, there was a period of time where this went on for a couple of years. He would speak, and people got my Second Amendment right says, in the state, I can have open carry as long as it's open and as long as everybody can see that I've got it. You can have it. So I'm trying to think of the last time I saw that. I can't. I can't. So take that for
right.
what it's worth. With that, we are out of time, Brian. I'm going to give you the first shot because I gave you first drift at the beginning.
You forgot me, Brian. Is it because we have the same first name?
I think it is. I saw yours. I thought it was mine.
I don't really have anything to promote right now. You know what? I did just get back from my Bay Area trip, but I did
You didn't call. You didn't call.
I did a gig for physicists, and I had a very interesting experience at the Crow's Nest. But for
How'd it go?
another time.
How'd it go?
Huh?
Did it go
It
well?
was fantastic right up until the very end.
Crow's
Rough
Nest.
dismount.
The Crow's Nest is a comedy spot in Santa Cruz, California. It's been there for. I haven't played there in probably
Decades.
20 years since I played there.
Long running one nighter.
A lot of UC Santa. There's still a lot of UC Santa Cruz kids.
Yeah, this was a slightly older crowd and some.
Yeah, they were 23.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry I missed you. And nothing right now to promote, but Science Comedian on Instagram and other places.
All right, and your contact info will be in the show notes as well as your address.
Thanks.
Bill, where can folks see you? You got anything coming up?
Okay. Well, I'm not doing much right now. I'm doing mostly private and corporate gigs right now. I took some time off for health reasons and to build my social media. So you can find me on social media when I start performing outwards again, when I start leaving. I usually go between San Diego and LA. So when I go further past that, I post flyers. So you guys want to follow me, Bill Jubran, on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. And when I'm back on doing these gigs, come on and see. We're going to have fun.
All right, and again, all that.
Hey, Brian, you know what? Yeah. I don't have anything, but can I promote that? Our friend Dan Dion, a well-known photographer of comedians, and he has a comedy record label called Goat Song Records. He just released a brand new Jim Short, our friend Jim Short, who passed away in January.
It was brilliant.
My former roommate. He had 2 self-made CDs, and so Goat Song Records has released a brand new CD by him and the 2 old ones, and they're on stream. I'm sure they're available to buy, and they're on streaming networks. Jim Short.
All right, are they on Spotify? You think?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'll check it out. He was brilliant. He used to open for me all the time.
Very funny.
All the time. So Bill, I always want to tell people, if you've not seen any of Bill's social media, check him out. The commentaries you do are just absolutely, they're brilliant, they're true, and they're hysterical. So I love what it is you do.
Have you seen the devil character?
No. No.
Once in a while, I bust out, like the devil on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay, I bust out my devil character who comes up. Actually, I posted one a day or two ago. The devil character, people are liking that one. It's my alter ego, but it's he kind of rips people up pretty good. So I think you like the devil character.
All right, I will check him out, definitely. Well, I hope you had fun. Come back and see us again.
Definitely, I had fun, man. Thanks, Brian. Thank you both. Nice to meet you both, Brians.
Nice to meet you, Bill.
And I'm going to throw my plug out. This Saturday, I am being inducted into the Bay Area Radio Hall of Fame.
Nice.
So, officially into the Hall of Fame. So that means I'm old officially.
Congratulations.
But thank you.
Hey, look, you could be old and not inducted.
Yeah, there's that. There's that. Brian Mallow, Bill Jubran. Well, that's going to do it for us. I'm going to mention again, please make sure that you like and you subscribe and you tell your friends. If you are listening to us of the audio version of this podcast, please leave us a 5-star review because that helps people to find the show. I'll check you out next week with another panel. Until then, I'm going to use, I don't know if you've seen this on True Social, Trump's new slogan, instead of "Make America Great Again," he's been writing "We Will Survive." Yeah, if you go look at True Social. He's right, "We will survive." So apparently Gloria Gaynor is now the president of the United States.
All right, nice.
So check it out. I'll see you next week. Till then, be kind to your neighbor. He knows where you live.